So Amanda Johansen joins us now. Amanda, we thank you so much. Played for Team O'Miller over the weekend, and you'll be on Team Gold, Dempsey Arsenal's team this weekend. And you've been around. You were working through an injury for a couple weeks and had your debut weekend, I guess. So you probably got to see maybe a little bit of both. You got to be a bystander and play in the actual games, I guess. What has the experience been like for you so far here in this new league, Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse?
My experience so far has been amazing. I didn't know exactly what to expect, especially coming in as a facilitator. But that role really helped me with like a smooth transition into becoming a player for week 3. Definitely learned a lot, being able to watch all the best in the world, play the 3 games in a row over the weekend. And then when it was my turn to hop in there, I felt really comfortable with the group, and I was just really excited to get out there on the field.
Yeah, and you think of the concept and everything, and the atmosphere that you guys are all staying in the same hotel in the same region. And I love how you're playing week after week too. I think it's really cool to have that consistency and seeing you guys out there. Is there anything you would compare it to over the course of your life or lacrosse career? This sort of atmosphere?
I've never, I feel like we're kind of back in like college, like we're
Mm.
practicing every day. We're with our team all the time. Although in college we never played 3 days in a row. I guess it's like a mix of the atmosphere of college, but the play like a club tournament where you would go a full weekend.
Mm.
So it's a unique combination, but it's really fun. We all joke that we're all at summer camp.
Right. I mean, what a cool way to spend your summer. They're the main
Yeah.
summer months here. A cool thing, too, that happened. You went up against Alyssa Perella over the weekend, who, of course, you had gotten to know pretty well as a coach of Hofstra. What was that like for you going up against her?
I was super excited going into this to be able to play with Alyssa.
Mm.
We have not yet been on the same team, even in week 4. Hopefully, week 5 we will be. But it was really cool. There was actually one point in the game, and she's been so impressive this whole time. I've been so proud of her. But there was one point in the game where I went to take a shot, and I got completely like decked to the ground. And I got up, and Alyssa was like, "I'm so sorry." And I was like, "No, I am proud of you. That was a good hit." Like, she's just crushing it, and she's just such a nice person. She works so hard. So I'm really happy to see her being surrounded by all these players and still just playing her game and scoring a lot of goals.
Yeah, and you think about the different combinations. You alluded to that a little bit, and you're seeing maybe some of the same people over the course of a couple of weeks play with each other. I guess how has that dynamic, sort of impacted things as the weeks have gone on? You see some of the same themes, but then you change things up, and you probably get to know some athletes you probably didn't know before too, right?
Yeah, I think it's really exciting how you only have a few days to get comfortable with the players that you're with
Mm.
and how that can change weekly. But it also is really interesting how fast you can kind of learn to mesh and you start to enjoy working with players that you've never played with before. Like I'm really excited this week. I got to play with Kenzie Kent. I've never played with her. And then I'm also really excited because I got to play with Dempsey and I was teammates with Dempsey in the WPLL and I loved working with her. So it
Yeah.
just every week some things change up a bit. You learn to work with new players and sometimes it's unfortunate because you really love working with somebody and then you might never be able to get to work with them again. So
Right.
it
And you,
changes
and
all the time.
you won a championship with Dempsey, right? With the Brave in
Yeah.
WPLL, is that right? Yeah.
Yes, it was so fun. Dempsey, Marie McCool, and I were all on the same line, and we've been trying to make that happen again, but it hasn't happened yet.
Right. So I guess I'm sure you've been asked this before by your friends and whatever, but so how do you manage the individual feel up against the team feel and all this? I know that's a big dynamic for a lot of the athletes and the points, are weighed a certain direction. How does that gone through in your mind?
I don't really think about the points too much. I feel like as a midfielder, you want to be able to, stick to your game, do the little things, 50-50 balls, the draw controls. I feel like you have so much to focus on in the game that the points are really the only points that I really think that you think about a lot are the quarter wins and the game wins because those are team points and your team wins are really important. Yeah, those will boost you, but I don't think that there's anybody going throughout the game being like, okay, if I take this 2-pointer, I get this many points, or if I, have this turnover. There's times in the games where people are just making the safe call for their teams and chucking the ball down the field when there's only a few seconds left. And at the end of the day, you're losing points doing that. But if it's the best move for your team, everyone's seems to, not care about that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think that system has allowed some players and athletes that maybe we don't normally highlight be, sort of in the forefront. Caleb Wood, week after week, some
Mhm.
of these goalies as well. I think it's been a cool dynamic of this where you really we've been able to appreciate, some of these other unsung heroes of the sport a little bit more because of the way things are weighted. But we weren't really sure how things would shake out. Like, well, how are defenders really going to be up there? And we have seen that come to fruition. I think that's been really cool.
I agree. The point system's been awesome. I mean, I don't know if it's this week, but there's been times where the captains have been like four different positions. You have a goalie, a defender, a midi, and attacker. So it shows that everyone has, an equal opportunity to lead. But I also think it just shows the importance of like being a good, strong teammate because, if you're a great teammate and your team's winning and you're winning quarters, it doesn't really matter individually your points. Like you can rise every single week and you can get up there just by keeping that, camaraderie and by keeping everyone keeps calling, good vibes and having fun. And that's what people think about when they go through the draft as well.
Yeah, right. The weekly drafts, I'm sure, have been interesting.
Yeah.
Another cool aspect is that each athlete is playing for an important cause, and you are with Morgan's Message is what you're raising funds for. Why did you choose that fundraiser?
Morgan's Message was an organization that I started to learn about last year. Like you mentioned earlier, I coach at Hofstra. And I was kind of like, somebody mentioned it to me and I looked into it and then I contacted the organization and it was just really cool to be able to bring it back to the team. Just because I feel like with COVID and even before that in sports in general, like it used to be that mental health was never really talked about. And now the more that it's talked about, I felt like bringing it to the team, it would just allow our players to have open conversations. And if anyone was going through anything at all, especially during the time where everything was like virtual and on Zooms, and it was really hard to just go and talk to somebody that they knew that, we were all in it together and that if they ever were going through anything that they weren't alone. So I really loved the organization. And I met Donna this past weekend and her family, and they were so great. And I'm so happy that, not only do I get to play lacrosse, but I get to play while supporting an amazing cause like Morgan's Message.
Yeah, I think that's really cool what they're doing for you guys, things that are important to you, and things that, of course, you can spread awareness for at the same
Mhm.
time. Before you go, just want to ask you about Hofstra real quick. You lose some seniors. We mentioned Alyssa Perella earlier in the interview as well. And of course, every year you guys play such a tough schedule. Yeah, as you look forward, what is next for this Hofstra program in terms of your eyes under Shannon Smith?
I'm really excited for what's to come. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, we lost a great group of, I guess, fifth years, but we also
Yeah.
return a really solid bunch. And our seniors last year, they all took their COVID year. We have some great leadership, and we have a really strong group of freshmen coming in. So I think it would be really nice for the team to get a full fall ball in because I think there's so much potential, and to be able to now have like the full practices and hopefully a more normal preseason. The team's always competitive. We always have a bunch of workhorses, so I'm just really excited to see what we can do with more time to be able to prep for season.
Right, almost a breath of fresh air just to hear fall ball again, right? Be able
Exactly.
to go back to school and have that actually take place for the majority of the country. Knock on wood, of course, we're playing these things by ear, but at the end of the day, we really get excited about that. I'm sure as a coach, to really get a good look at some of these new faces too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just
Yeah.
the fact that right now fall ball is happening is something that's really exciting.
Yeah, and it's really exciting just to see you guys play out there week after week, and I think that's been one of the cooler parts of the summer is to see this new league and see it on the field for the first time in a while. So, Amanda, we appreciate you coming on, and good luck this weekend, and continue to have fun out there. All right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.